I never imagined that volunteering to clean out my late grandmother's attic would lead to what can only be described as a waking nightmare. It was a Sunday afternoon like any other. The sky was overcast, and the air carried the crispness of early autumn. My parents had decided to sell the old Victorian house, where my grandmother had spent her final years, and it fell upon me, the dutiful granddaughter, to sort through her belongings. The house, nestled at the edge of a quiet suburb, had always felt slightly out of place with its ornate gables and forgotten charm. As a child, I'd marveled at its mystery, but that Sunday, it felt more like a lingering shadow from a time long gone. The attic was accessed by a creaky pull-down ladder, a daunting climb I'd avoided since childhood. As I ascended, the air grew cooler, tinged with the unmistakable scent of mothballs and dust. The attic was a time capsule, filled with forgotten trunks, old furniture, and boxes stacked haphazardly. I set to work, feeling the weight of nostalgia and a slight unease that I quickly brushed aside. As I sifted through boxes of yellowed photographs and brittle letters, I stumbled upon a peculiar object, a small, intricately carved wooden box. It was unlike anything else in the attic, its surface covered in swirling patterns that seemed to writhe when caught in the dim light filtering through the attic window. My curiosity piqued. I lifted the lid. Inside, nestled in a bed of faded velvet, was a tarnished silver pocket watch. I picked it up, feeling a strange chill run down my spine. The watch was cold to the touch, heavier than it looked. Its face was blank, void of numbers or hands. I turned it over, finding an inscription etched into the back. Tempus edax rerum, time, the devourer of all things. As I held the watch, a faint ticking began, so soft it was almost imperceptible. I shook my head, attributing it to an overactive imagination, and placed the watch back in its box. Yet, the moment I did, the sense of being watched crept over me, prickling the hairs on the back of my neck. I tried to shake off the feeling as I continued sorting, but the air in the attic felt thicker, oppressive. Shadows seemed to stretch and shift, contorting into forms that vanished when I blinked. The faint ticking persisted, now intertwined with an echoing whisper, like distant voices carried on a breeze. As the afternoon wore on, the unease mounted. The attic felt alive, breathing in time with the ticking. I paused, peering into the dim corners where the light struggled to reach, half expecting to see someone or something lurking in the shadows. The rational part of me insisted it was nothing, just the isolation playing tricks on my mind. Yet, an unfamiliar dread gnawed at me, urging me to leave. I forced myself to focus, determined to finish the task at hand. I moved to a heavy trunk in the far corner, hoping the distraction would quell the rising panic. The trunk creaked open, revealing a jumble of old clothing, and beneath them, a stack of faded journals. As I lifted the topmost one, the atmosphere shifted. The air around me seemed to hum with energy, the whispering growing louder, more insistent. The words were unintelligible, a language I couldn't understand, yet they resonated deep within me, tapping into a primal fear. I opened the journal, my fingers trembling. The pages were filled with my grandmother's elegant looping script, recounting mundane events interspersed with strange symbols and diagrams that sent a shiver through me. One entry caught my eye. The watch is a key, a tether to what was and what could be. Beware the devouring time. The realization hit me like a cold wave. This was no ordinary heirloom. The watch, with its silent ticking and cryptic inscription, was tied to something far older and darker than I could comprehend. A sudden bang echoed through the attic, and I jumped, dropping the journal. My heart pounded in my chest as I scanned the room, the shadows now swirling with a life of their own. The whispers crescendoed into a cacophony, a chorus of unseen voices chanting in unison. I stumbled back, my instincts screaming to flee, yet my feet felt rooted to the spot. The air around me thickened, the chill seeping into my bones. I could feel the presence now, a malevolent force, watching, waiting. It was as if the very house had come alive, its walls closing in, suffocating. Fighting the rising panic, I grabbed the wooden box with the watch and turned to leave. As I did, The attic door slammed shut with a deafening finality. The room plunged into darkness, the only light a faint, eerie glow emanating from the watch now clutched in my hand. The whispers grew louder, more frantic, as if urging me to act. My mind raced, grasping for logic, for reason, but found none. I was trapped in a nightmare, and the watch was the key, both the cause and the potential escape. Desperation fueled me, and I fumbled with the box, my fingers tracing the intricate carvings. The patterns seemed to pulse, syncing with the ticking watch. I pressed on one of the swirling designs, feeling it give way beneath my touch. Instantly, the attic erupted in a blinding flash of light, the chants reaching a fevered pitch. The world spun, and I felt myself being pulled, stretched through time and space, my consciousness unraveling. When the light faded, I found myself standing in the attic once more, the whispers gone, the air still. The watch lay at my feet, its surface eerily blank, the ticking now silent. I picked it up, feeling the familiar chill, but the unease had dissipated, replaced by a profound emptiness. I descended the ladder, leaving the attic and its secrets behind. Outside, the afternoon sun had broken through the clouds, casting a warm glow over the house. I stood in the driveway, the watch heavy in my pocket, a reminder of the darkness I'd glimpsed. As I walked away, a lingering sense of dread shadowed my steps. The watch was silent, but the knowledge of its power, its connection to something ancient and malevolent, haunted me. I knew I'd escaped its grasp for now, but the whispers of the attic lingered in my mind, a reminder that time, the devourer, waits for no one. The house sold quickly, its secrets buried beneath layers of paint and new memories. Yet, as I settled into my life, a part of me remained tethered to that attic, to the watch and its silent promise. I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd only postponed the inevitable, that somewhere the whispers still echoed, waiting for their chance to return. And so, I live with the knowledge that the past is never truly gone, that ancient forces lurk in the shadows of mundane lives. The watch remains with me, a relic of forgotten times, a tether to a darkness that watches and waits, biding its time until the devouring begins anew.